There apparently is a clip that is coming out of JK at the mall with his alleged blonde girlfriend. We also have JK's tongue trending and what that's about. And then we have people saying who they believe JK's real hater is and what they're doing. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Make sure you join us fangirling on Patreon with some free content on Saturdays now, and let's go. Y'all, the tea is teaing today because we have some things we need to talk about. People have been going on about who they believe JK's real hater is. I don't think he has any haters that are actually worth his mind, and I think it was Tom Holland that once said, if you don't actually know someone, or like you don't actually have someone's phone number, then you don't have a reason to hate them, or you don't know them well enough to even have any sort of reason to hate them. And this is so true because all you know about someone is the one-dimensional version that they show either on their music, via their image, or on social media. And this is extremely flawed because there's a lot of incentive, money-wise, to show just one dimension of yourself. It's very easy to consume a one-dimensional person and say, oh, they are this thing, and then we can categorize them as just this one thing. But people are multi-dimensional, and people have so many different interests other than just one thing. So I meet a lot of people who say and ask me, like, what do I do when I'm not listening to K-pop? And I live my life. I listen to other artists, I go out biking, I hang out with my friends, I research global news, I look up what Trump and Biden are doing and decide who I'm voting for. I go and help out at a local charity organization. There's so much that I do outside of just this one thing, but of course if you follow me on here and you see me here, then you probably think that that's all I'm doing. So then I get people saying I'm obsessed with this one thing or whatever it is, when that's actually not the truth. It's something that I do, I enjoy, and then I kind of move on and do something else. But I don't get upset when I see those comments because obviously they're going to think that because this is all they actually see. However, when I see comments hating on someone so intensely, sending death threats to the BTS members or whatever, over just seeing a one-dimensional version of them, I have to say this because people have to know that what they see on TV is rarely ever the full person that they actually are. Now, a lot of people have also said that JK's real hater is the label. This is a conversation that is ongoing and has been talked about for many, many years, where people believe that the biggest person to stand in the way of JK or hurt JK is his label. Now, does the company, especially a media company or an agency, ever fully invest all their time and resources into one artist? They try not to, and they don't always think in the artist's best interest. So they're not always just thinking, okay, let's push JK and forget about everyone else in the label right now, and then just push him. They rarely ever are going to do that just because it's going to make the label look not great. Investors will start to wonder why this is happening and start to pull out their money from the label, and ultimately then the label could just fail just from doing all that and not being more diverse. And this is a very simplified example, probably one that would not actually ever happen, but just a simplified example to talk about, like a reason why a label could be thinking about themselves more than they're thinking about the artist. Because if they fail and the label doesn't exist anymore, then they can't help anybody. Now, the job to promote an artist, especially now that the label has this sort of westernized thing going for them, is going to be the job of the artist and for the artist to take on. If you join a Western label, you're an upcoming artist or an artist who actually needs to be pushed by a label, then the chances are you're going to notice that you're actually not getting pushed in the way that you thought you would when you get signed on. You might get pushed a little bit if you're blowing up that year, but even then you're still going to have to beg for things like a huge budget to make a music video. And they're still going to have to ask for things that you're not necessarily going to get. People often like to say, why isn't the label pushing this member to go to a fashion show or pushing this member on TV or whatever it is? And they fail to recognize that sometimes they do that and it just doesn't work. And I think this is the part of the problem that they don't realize, which is that the label can literally sit there and push any of the artists they want, let's say to American TV or to an American talk show. However, the American TV show or the talk show still has a right to turn it down. And this happens very frequently in K-pop when they talk about how JK had this huge solo debut and the other members didn't. People aren't acknowledging the fact that all the other artists' music were all in Korean, so American TV probably would reject or may say no to those performances. For example, I can hire myself a publicist and pitch myself to Forbes and write this amazing article about everything that I've done, but I'm not someone who's well known or has this big name, so Forbes is probably not going to publish me. And I can hire a million publicists to pitch the same article, and I still probably wouldn't be in their magazine or website, and that's fine. I'm not necessarily looking to be on Forbes, so I'm cool with that. And a lot of people think that that's what the label has done with JK, is and it's a shaming thing. Like, they don't like him, and that's why they haven't pushed him. But as I specified, I don't believe that that's true. People will shame JK for anything that he's done, and people will have things to say about everything that he's done. I recently saw something trending, or kind of a lot of people were talking about it, and it involved JK and his tongue. There was this video that resurfaced where it was an older video, and he was just kind of sitting there and he was playing around with his tongue. Not like purposely, I don't think, but he was just kind of moving it around and smiling. And then this has now been a thing, as people would post about it because they will make it into a GIF and then post about it. People think that it looks cool. So it definitely went viral and had a moment. One of the things that people were talking about were the people who had maybe a somewhat dirty mind to talk about tongue kissing or kissing in general, since he is moving around his tongue and it is seen as a sexual thing. I think it's gross to envision someone like this. And I wish that in general, most of us didn't have a dirty mind, because sometimes I do think these things are a bit invasive. I don't really know what to call it, but I think there is this sort of idea that the community has where private moments like this, if they're being imagined or seen, it's as if they feel closer to the artist. And sometimes we as fans just need to be at a distance, and we need to accept that we're probably not going to be people that remain very close from JK. And a really big distance from JK would be great, because I remember reading a long time ago where people said, well, if anyone is going to have a chance at meeting BTS, becoming friends with them, it's going to be people who have somewhat of a following. And that's just not true. Either because the following doesn't really mean anything, it just means that people watching and are watching you, and that you're connecting with more people. But it doesn't mean that celebrities are automatically going to want to be with you. Most celebrities and most mainstream celebrities don't take influencers or people who are on social media that seriously. They don't really see it as real fame, and quite honestly, it's not even close to real fame. And anyone who is saying being an influencer is like being famous is a little bit out of their freaking mind. Like, calm down, you'll literally make videos in your bedroom. Now, there's also a lot of viral videos that have come out and stuff that's definitely worth talking about. There has been this rumor for a long time that JK had a blonde girlfriend, and this rumor has resurfaced again, as it tends to do with every season. Because this is a rumor that I don't think mainstream media ever acknowledged, and definitely JK never acknowledged. And it's one that didn't really even have remotely sharp teeth to it. Like, it probably isn't even rounded teeth, but like such tiny teeth that it's microscopic and they were flat. Like, people were saying that when JK went to Qatar, he had an alleged girlfriend because he was wearing the same necklace from a girl that owned a jewelry store or whatever it was. Now, I guess people realized that that wasn't enough evidence, so now there's allegedly evidence coming out with JK at a mall being seen with someone next to him. And also moments where he was walking to his car being seen with someone next to him. And this person that is next to him either has brown hair or blonde hair. But again, as usual, we haven't seen a face. We don't know what this person looks like. And honestly, from the back, these could be several different people. One particular moment where JK was at a luxury store in one of the best malls in Qatar. Apparently, this blondish girl was in the photo right behind him. Keep in mind, this photo was in black and white. And I think that that was on purpose. So it appears like this woman was blonde, but she could have been brown. She could have had just been really dark brown, or we wouldn't really know. But to call this person his girlfriend is very odd, because JK had mentioned a few times when he was in Qatar that he was alone and bored. And also, if that's not believable, all the examples of the pictures that they showed of this alleged girlfriend were all pictures that look like different women. Also, completely discounting this idea that his staff would be following him around. It's like you just came in front of something like that. And like a bunch of people were following him, and like this could have been his team, so this could have been his makeup artist or stylist. It sucks because there's bound to be someone who would have looked up who this woman was and who several of these women are, and try to reach out to them. And they're just staff, they're just makeup artists. They're just people who like to do what they do, but they don't want to be famous, and they definitely don't want to be famous specifically for being JK's girlfriend. So I feel really bad for them, and I also feel odd about this rumor. Like, now suddenly we are seeing clips come out where it's just him standing next to somebody, suddenly this is a girlfriend, and this sets a dangerous precedent, because if he is next to a stranger, or he takes a picture with someone within the community, like a fan, and it's a woman, then people are going to think that he's dating them. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if he was taking a picture with someone who was below the age of 18, and then suddenly there would be this children dating rumors coming out, and I would be furious if that happened. But I wouldn't put it past Kpop for it not to happen. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you, bye.